Pariah Kovu Kamikaze. I just saw a video with Floyd Mayweather, and apparently that fight he was going to have with the Japanese kickboxer Tenshin is back on. Now, aside from calling about entertainment, and as usual going on and on about how much money he makes, another point that he kept reiterating is that he's the A-side. A-side in what, Floyd? Boxing? Money. Being the A-side in boxing doesn't make you the A-side in combat sports. And it damn sure doesn't make you the A-side in fighting. Now I know Floyd would just counter that statement with the same redundant shtick about how he's got lots of money, therefore he must be the A-side. Wrong. Fail. Try again, because you're wrong. The A-side is whoever the best is. And in terms of fighting, plenty of fighters are B-E-T-T-E-R better than you. They're better than you, period, jackass. Sure, those fighters may not make more money than you, but they are better than you. Frankie Edgar is not the better boxer, but he is the better fighter. Conor McGregor is not the better boxer, but he is the better fighter. Max Holloway is not the better boxer, but he is the better fighter. That alone makes them the A-side. Talking about you're a boxer, not a kickboxer, and he was in that press conference talking about he's a boxer, not a kickboxer, and Holly Holm was a boxer before she was an MMA fighter. Randy Couture was a wrestler before he was an MMA fighter. Floyd, money, pretty boy. Plenty of kickboxers have done boxing matches, and plenty of boxers have done kickboxing matches and MMA matches and all kinds of things. So what's your point? That just because you've boxed your whole life, you can't do anything else? That just because you've boxed your whole life, you can't make a transition or go to the next level of combat sports that involves something beyond punching? Holly Holm boxed and kickboxed, so congratulations, Floyd. Holly Holm has more spine than you. As far as I'm concerned, Holly Holm is the A-side on account of being a real fighter. Come on, Floyd, you talking all that shit. Floyd was in there talking like a shot caller. Floyd was in there, he sounded like a shot caller. Floyd was in there sounded up like he was a shot caller. It's funny too, because when 50 Cent punked your ass on Instagram, sent urchins to check your ass, said you the man in the ring, champ, but out of the ring, he'll hand you your ass. You wasn't talking that A-side shit then. A-side. A-side, I'm the A-side, A-side, all day, on the A-side, all day, hard work, all day. Shit, out of the ring, I think we all know 50 is the A-side in that one. You know, this A-side and B-side stuff, it's all relative to context, man. During the press conference, a reporter asked if Floyd plans on doing an MMA bout. Naturally, Floyd said no, he's a boxer, why would he ever do that? The reporter then referenced the fact that Floyd posted a video on Instagram with him in an MMA cage. And Floyd gave a condescending reply. He basically said, oh, people post bullshit on Instagram all the time. It don't mean nothing. Yeah, Floyd, but people also post real shit on Instagram as well. Which is why the reporter asked the fucking question, jackass. That little video of you in the cage could have been your way of saying we could see you in an MMA fight one day. Especially if I recall correctly, you told Conor McChoker you would fight anybody, anywhere, in a ring or a cage. That it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you want to fight in a ring or in a cage? Well, I want to fight. It doesn't matter if you want to fight in a ring or a cage. So forgive people for asking just to get some clarity, Floyd. Forgive people. Do you care if we fight in a ring or a cage? Well, it doesn't matter if you don't care if it's in a ring or a cage. Do you want to fight in a ring or in a cage? Well, I kind of want to fight. It doesn't matter if it's in a ring or a cage. So forgive people for asking for some clarity, Floyd. That's all the reporter wanted. They wanted some, we want clarity, man. You wish-washy, you fickle, man. Up and down. Either you about the fighting game or you're not. Either you'll fight in a ring or in a cage or you won't. But saying you're willing to fight in a cage and posting videos of you in a cage, hey, forgive people for wanting some clarity. talking about he calls the shots because he's the best puncher in the world. Man, screw you. How about prove you the best fighter in the world before you talk that kind of shit? Or just admit that you're afraid to fucking lose in a bout that's closer to a real fight than boxing will ever be. And I want to say that, don't get me wrong, I can understand Floyd's apprehension. He worked hard for that 50-0 resume. No, he worked hard for that 50-0, worked hard for that resume. It doesn't want to give people that satisfaction should he take a loss in any form of combat. You know, I can understand the art of war mentality in terms of always putting yourself in the position to where you always have the advantage. Hell, natives of the black hole are devout subscribers to such a strategy. But we're talking sports here, Floyd, not goddamn war. So, with regard to sports, and you claiming to be the best in combat sports or the A side of combat sports, yet cowering and making excuses whenever warriors from other combat sports call you out on such a claim, makes you a wuss, dude. I mean, when the warriors come out to play, you run scared each and every time. At the end of the day, it still is a sport. It's not full-on war, you know? So if you want everything on your terms, cool. But if that's the case, just entertain the challenges of other boxers, or stop calling yourself the A side of combat sports. If you're really looking at this thing as like territory and it's like a do or die, it's a war, then hey, cool, but just call yourself the ruler of boxing. But once you start claiming you the ruler of combat sports, you're gonna be called out by a lot of other combat sport athletes. And if you back out, you look like a punk, man. You look like an idiot. You look like a fucking idiot. You look like a delusional punk. You ain't a competitor, you ain't a fighter, you a punk. As long as you call yourself the A side of combat sports, then yeah, people are gonna keep challenging you to matches with rules that truly determine who the real A side of combat sports is. Which means no, boxing rules do not determine who the true A side of combat sports is, because it limits a major portion of the combat sport spectrum. No kicks, no elbows, no slams, no throws, no knees, no submissions. But I'm the king. I'm the A side of combat sports. Retarded. Short bus logic. Seriously, you're the best fighter. Shit, that's like saying you're the strongest guy in the world, but all you want to do is bench press competitions because that just so happens to be your best lift, the bench press. Fuck that. If you can outbench everybody, that just means you're the best bench presser. That'll make you the strongest overall. Shit, if you can outbench everybody, that just means you're the best at bench pressing. In order to call yourself the strongest, you have to show that your comprehensive strength is superior, which is comprised of your deadlift, your squat, your curl max, how many pull-ups you can do, how many push-ups you can do, how many people you can beat in an arm wrestling match, how high you can jump, I don't know, how long you can hold certain static holds, how good your calisthenics game is, etc. But being the best bench presser in the world is different from being the strongest in the world. And the same train of thought applies to fighting. So Floyd, if you're gonna call yourself the A side of combat sports, man, you better show you've got skills to hang in various areas of combat sports. And I know this is gonna be terrifying for you to hear, but the only way to do that is to either grapple, kickbox, or have a bout in the ultimate form of combat sports, mixed martial arts.